Hello there, I'm going to be showing how to play the song Miserable by the Black Crowes, at least the intro, so that way people can kind of get started here. I'm using my Strat style guitar with a humbucker in the bridge, but I'm using that split with the middle single coil. So it's kind of like, what is that, position 4 of a Strat? I'm using that because it's a little punchier. It's not as thick as a full humbucker. Before we get started with learning it, we have to tune to the correct tuning because turns out it's an alternate tuning. We start with tuning our guitar to open G, and what that would be is a low D string, right? So you tune the lowest string to a D, the next string goes to a G, next string will be a D, which should be the same, and then the next string should be a G, that should be normal. Next string will be a B, which again should be normal, and then the highest string, the thinnest string, will be down to a D. So 3 of the strings are going to be detuned down a whole step. And now we have this kind of open G sounding sort of tuning. If I play all the strings, that's what it sounds like. Right? Sounds pretty cool, very bluesy, right? And then what we do is we get something called a capo. And what a capo does is it just holds the strings down at a certain fret, at a certain position. So I'm going to put them here, right here on the 3rd fret. And now what you want to do is double check your tuning. A lot of people don't really do this, but you really should, is when you use a capo, the strings tend to get sharper. So you kind of have to detune a little bit, or it'll be pretty close, like right now. Seems pretty close to me. So now if I play, pretty good. So that's the major thing is everything is tuned down to this tuning. Let me play a bit of the main riff so that way you have an idea of what it will sound like, okay? That's really the main riff. And it's got this cool slur of bends and hammer-ons and pull-offs and all that. But let me show you the main thing so that way you have an idea of what really to do and then where to kind of add in these little fills and stuff from there. So the main riff starts with 2 notes, and I'm sliding up here, right, to this sort of sound. And what it will be is a D, the G, and the B strings. I'm just going to call the strings like their normal names, even though now we're tuned to a different tuning. Just makes it easier for us to kind of keep track, okay? It probably is easier for me mentally to still call all the frets like their normal frets. So maybe I'll do that instead, because to me that makes more sense. So that way you can kind of keep track of everything. So now that we're tuned to this open F kind of idea, like that, what's going on is we have this very cool kind of opening salvo of, right? It's the D and the G here on the 6th fret of the D, and then the 8th fret of the G. What I do is I slide that up as soon as I play it. So I'll slide it up 2 frets to the 8th fret and the 10th fret. So it'll sound like this. And I play the B string along with it. So it kind of has this sort of natural sort of sound on top of it. Like that. And then right after, I do a slide 10 to 12 with the open B string still happening here. So it'll be 10 to 12 on the G string. And you could do just a slide back and forth like that. Or I play it as I kind of play it and pick it twice. So it's a 10-12 on the G, and then 12-10 back down on the G with that open B still happening, okay? And then I do the same thing, 10-12 on the D string, 12-10 back down on the D string. But this time I'm adding in the open G string and the open B string. So it sounds like this all together, okay? Something like that. And then what I'll do is I'll bar here, right here on the 10th fret. It's going to be the A string, D string, G string. And it sounds like this. Right? So right after I do this lick, now put together. So that's kind of the thing, is you're strumming this kind of, I believe it's a F chord. Something like that. And then what I do is I hammer on 10-12 on the D string while I'm playing that kind of 3-note bar chord. So it's kind of like that, 10-12, 10-12, and then a 10-12-10. And then I slide down to the 8th fret of the A string, D string, G string. And then what I do here is I play the full chord now by adding in these 2 notes. So now this chord becomes 8th fret of the A string, 10th fret of the D, 8th fret of the G, 9th fret of the B string. So it's this kind of shape. So it goes, let's do it from that second chord. So and then I just play the open A through B strings, just all the way open. That's kind of my main chord there. And then I do this sort of, which is on this 5th fret. I bend it up, and then I bend it back down, and then open G into B, and then the 5th fret of the D string, and then I hammer on 5th fret of the G string, and then open. So it sounds like this. Right? So now all together, you should have this general idea going on. That's just another fill that I'm adding. And it's just open B. So I'm open B, 6th fret, 8th fret, 6, 8. So I'm going up and then back down. And then I do this on the G string, open G, 5th fret, 7th fret. So it sounds like that all together. It's a very cool little simple fill. So again, one more time all together. That's really the main riff for everything. For the verse, what I'm hearing, I didn't quite hear the whole entire song, but I'm hearing just like that open sort of chord. And then the third chord we play, which is this. I think that's what's going on between the verses and everything. So sounds really, really cool. Sounds very bluesy, and it's all due to that